Ahoy everyone and welcome to Blairgowrie. Broom and I just spent a bit over an hour in the water. It was freezing. The water is actually warmer than the air, 15 versus 11. But yeah, the dive was interesting. I went in with my macro setups. My dive light was charged, so that was good and very helpful. The setup worked reasonably well. I actually chucked on a little tripod as well, which you'll see in the footage. And that really helped. But the bottom line is, no matter what camera you have, no matter what setup you have, it's all about what's 6 inches behind the camera. So when you look at the footage and the photos, I'm not a macro photographer, I'm new to this. I was very frustrated at the beginning of the dive, and thanks to my buddy and husband who calmed me down, gave me a little pep talk, and then we started our dive again. Like, I was ready to throw in the towel after 5 minutes. I'm a very impatient person. I got hugely frustrated, but thanks to him, I stuck with it and we went on a dive, and there's at least some decent shots, which I think is quite amazing because given that I don't really have the skill set in macro photography and I got such decent shots, I'm actually really impressed. So that is probably thanks to the gear that I have, which is the iPhone 15 Pro Max. And so the other bonus with the iPhone is that I can actually do macro because the screen is huge. So before, when I had the mirrorless setup, it was really difficult for me. I never liked macro because I got really nauseous looking through the viewfinder, especially when it was an angled one. So I tried different things and I tried different lenses, but I always got so sick. So at least that is not happening with the big screen now, which is really, really nice. And once you actually get the shot, you see that a nudibranch and something really tiny is focus. It's amazing. So I hope you enjoy the footage, and Broom and I are now going to go and warm up. See you next time.
Okay, the good thing is, diving in Melbourne, there is always a cafe just around the corner to warm up after a freezing dive. But enough coffee, let's dive in. You can see my setup here with the macro diopter on and a 4,500 lumen big blue light. I've also chucked on a tripod, which for macro photography helps immensely with stabilization as well. You can see here, and it's actually quite impressive, that the Divevox touch screen can still be operated with gloves. These are 1.5mm gloves that keep my hands nice and warm. Now, as always, there was plenty of nudibranchs under the pier at Blairgowrie, but they can be in really awkward positions sometimes, like these two sitting on the sand, one in a bit of a dip there. So yeah, sometimes you find yourself in awkward positions trying to focus the camera. There you go, it's out of focus. And then, are we getting there? Finally in focus, there we go. And then when you get shots like this that are in focus, showing the motion of a tiny little nudibranch on the sand, it's just magic. Yeah, you can see here, it's tricky when a nudibranch is on the sand to get a really good angle without disturbing the seabed. But you do want to get a bit of depth of field and perspective without that. You don't want to have that beginner shot where you just shoot of top down. So you definitely want to make sure that your buoyancy is on point, because there's so many things, little things in the sand that you definitely don't want to disturb. And sometimes you focus so much on one thing. Here I'm trying to get a really good angle of that yellow nudibranch, which was a little bit under a ledge there, that I totally didn't realize that orange nudibranch sitting right there in front of me. I didn't see that until post-production. How amazing would that shot have been if I'd actually recognized that there were two nudibranchs, two different ones at that. So anyway, trying to get a good angle, light up the scene, finally getting there with the video, and this is the still shot I created and post-produced. I shot that in RAW. You want to make sure you're not missing the shot. You are moving quite a bit. We had quite a bit of current that day, so here this nudibranch sits beautifully, and then whoops, it topples off, and that was my chance. because I don't tend to move things around. Now this is an interesting one. You can see here there's a bit of blue water in the background, quite a big range of colour. And I really wanted to show some of the limitations here. You can start to see chromatic aberration, also known as colour fringing. So it's a colour distortion that creates an outline of unwanted colour along the edges of an object in a photograph. Let's zoom in and see what's happening. So you see the limitations on the outlines. Here's another nudibranch in a nice position on a pillar. Oh, another one swimming past, something that I totally didn't see until I post-produced this video. So you can see the setup here. I'm trying to get close to this tiny little nudibranch with my diopter and the light, but ultimately, with the help of the tripod, it just helps stabilize the shot to be able to get it into focus. There's a tiny little nudibranch there. And yeah, really amazing to be able to dial in the focus and all the settings, even though I'm wearing pretty thick gloves. Take some time. You see here, the rear is in focus, not the whole nudibranch or not the front of it. So again, took another shot and then finally managed to get everything nicely in focus. Here's a bit of a wide angle close focus of a little baby ray that was just chilling out. It is spring here in Australia, so lots of little babies around everywhere and eggs. And this is the beauty of being able to flip off the diopter. I did get a bit of a shot of the big ray as well. Now here we have another nudibranch on the sand. There was one in the weeds as well, but they were moving too much. So you can see I'm just approaching it here, lighting it up. There you go. Nicely lit now, the color's coming out, and you see the focus changing from the rear to the front in this shot. Now, Broome did find a seahorse. You can see it through the grass there, but it's hiding. And we generally don't move stuff around to be able to get a shot, so we just let it be. Here's another nudibranch in a tricky position, but it was a good day, so you just pan the camera around and find another one that's in a better position to take a nice shot. There we go. These are the stills from those two nudibranchs, shot in RAW and post-produced in Lightroom. Now this was towards the end of the dive, so you can, I think, really tell the difference in the footage and my approach to it, with the nudibranch coming into focus here. And then once I got a bit closer, I got this amazing shot. Just looks like a little alien, and you wonder, what are these little things in the ocean for? Absolutely fascinating. And these are the stills out of it with the focus on the front, and another shot with the focus on the rear. Towards the end of the dive, we saw another seahorse. This one was very, very shy, and as you can see, my light was also running out by the end of the dive. But yeah, very cute. It's a juvenile, and it was very shy, trying to hide very, very hard, so I left it alone. little fish. He was just chilling out. And then these little shrimp, which are usually really skittish, but they hung around as well and let me film them, which was quite cool. Like I said, I'm not usually into macro stuff, so I've seen them heaps of times before, but I've never actually tried to capture them because they're usually really skittish when you're a photographer and you're coming with flash guns and all that jazz. So, but they seem to be a bit more patient with the video light, which was kind of cool. The 11-armed starfish was also on the move. He was on a mission across the sand. And of course, we'll finish this video off with another nudibranch, this little orange blob in the sand. Very, very cute. And these are the stills from it. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the footage and I'll see you next time.